Start the recording. All right. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for being here at my continuing education. Another glorious day in the Pacific Northwest. Actually, it really is a glorious day because we finally got a little bit of moisture instead of just 90-degree weather. And so for me, that's the best thing because I don't like hot weather. That's why I don't live in the South. That's why I don't live in places where it does get hot. So today, I want to talk to you a little bit about lemon, lavender, and peppermint. What those three basic essential oils do for us, and what can they do for us when you put them together. So I'm going to give you a little bit more about how you use them. There are three ways to use them, and why you would consider using them. And I'm going to tell you a story that happened over the weekend that I think that has happened more than once. And I thought, well, you know, this is something that I should talk about because it's important. At least I feel that it's important, especially if you're all about trying to create something natural and changing your lifestyle. Because knowing what essential oils do for you, because most of us don't, we have no clue what essential oils do for us and what makes them effective. What is the reason that makes them effective for us? So I've been doing this for a while, and I too, in the beginning, didn't know anything about essential oils until I started learning more. And I was like, oh my gosh, people need to know, because even after 30 years in the dental world, I knew about certain products like clove, for instance, is phenomenal for dental issues or anything of the mouth, right? But what else is behind that? I didn't know what else they could do for us. In fact, when I go to the dentist now, because I quit that full-time job, I take my clove oil with me and I use that in place of the topical that they put on when you have to have that shot. Okay, when they make that mouth numb, I don't like that stuff. Never have, and that's artificial. So I'm going to use the real thing. It numbs the area. It works beautifully, and I don't have to worry about anything. And they're very open to that. So I just bring my bottle with me. They know what I'm going to do, and they know what I do. So I love being able to teach people. I want people to understand more. So what are the three ways that you use essential oils? First off, it's aromatic. Okay, that's the fastest response that you can have with any essential oil. So you would take the lid off. That's the first thing, and you smell. Take a deep breath. Oh, invigorating. Okay. What is that doing for us? Well, first off, there's an evaporation process. And then when you're smelling, those molecules attach to your nose hairs. And then it gets into the olfactory, which most oils, essential oils, will get through the blood-brain barrier. So our memory is stored in our brain. So what that does, it will bring you back to either a positive emotion or negative emotion. Because if you smell something that brings back a good or bad memory, but what we're trying to do when we are using essential oils aromatically is we are looking for a positive reaction. So instead of having, last week I discussed about depression and anxiety. And so when your brain and your body is in that sympathetic part, what happens is we are wanting to change the brain. So that sympathetic is the negative emotions always there. So what can we do to change it to the parasympathetic and have a more positive reaction? And so that's what smelling an essential oil can do, because that is what creates the memory and creates a different way for us to be able to have health. Because emotion has a lot to do with our physical health. So that is the best way. And besides that, one drop of an essential oil, just 1 drop, has over, and this is where my brain just can't compute this unless you're really a numbers person. There are over 400 million trillion molecules in 1 drop of essential oil. That's crazy, right? It sounds crazy. But we have 1 trillion cells in our body. So really what that equates to is about 400,000 molecules per cell from 1 drop of essential oil. Now, not all essential oil are created equal. You really have to know where your essential oils are coming from and if they're really truly pure. Because if they're pure, that's going to work. If they're not, if they're for topical or aromatic use only, what else is in that bottle? Because typically, essential oils should be ingestible. Granted, there are some that are not intended to be used internally. What they do need to do is meet the GRAS standard of the FDA, was generally regarded as safe for consumption. So like for doTERRA, this is why I use doTERRA, because there is no privacy. They are transparent for 2 reasons. One is this is lemon, and it actually has a supplement fact on here. Let's see if you can see that. There's a supplement fact. And it actually tells you that you can put 1 drop in 4 fluid ounce of water, okay? Or anything that, juice, whatever, smoothie, put this in liquid so that you can consume that. Now, do you want to do it every day? Some people do, some people don't. It's up to you. CPTG, what does that mean? That's certified pure therapeutic grade. The reason why doTERRA has that on there is because there are a lot of essential oils out there and a lot of companies, but the difference is there is no FDA that regulates essential oils. Nobody does that. And so they can put whatever they want in the bottle and still call it 100%. That doesn't mean that everything in the bottle you're getting is 100%. It means that somewhere in that bottle there is 100% essential oil. But it can still be chemically extracted, which is the fastest and the most economical way for people to pad their pockets. And also they can contain less than 10% of an essential oil, a true essential oil in the bottle, and still call it 100%. So keep that in mind when you look at an essential oil bottle, because you've got to know where they come from. Another thing is, on the bottom of every essential oil bottle, there's a number. There's a batch number, and there's an expiration date. Why is there an expiration date? Well, the FDA makes everybody put an expiration date. Doesn't mean that as soon as they hit that date that it's bad. Even our food in the store, so many people throw away tons of food every day because they see an expiration date and they think that it's no longer good. Well, that's not true. Okay, if it's in a can, it's likely still good. If it's milk, now it's going to go past date, but it's going to take a while before that to go sour. And you're going to know when it goes sour, especially milk. Oh my gosh. Have you ever smelled sour milk? So, but the other thing about this is that the batch number for doTERRA, if you want to know exactly where this essential oil came from and the grower that it came from, we have what's called source to you. And you can look up the batch number and they tell you exactly where it came from and when. So doTERRA is very transparent, and I love that about them, because they want that certified pure therapeutic grade, which means that it meets the standard of quality that everybody else is looking for, because, well, not everybody's looking for that, but they do the same graft or same science, same ways of looking at the gas I can't even talk this morning. Your gas chromatography and all of the different testing is done the same as anybody else. But what doTERRA does is go beyond that, and they do more testing. They do like 7 different tests versus the 3 main tests that most people or most companies will do. So it has to meet a quality of standard. If it doesn't, we don't get it as a single, or we get it in a blend because it's not enough for us to get it all the time. And it has to be sustainable. That's a big thing. That's huge. Okay, so that's aromatic, and we talked about transparency of doTERRA because I love doTERRA essential oils because they work every time. They're very consistent in their quality. Because of that, certified pure therapeutic grade. Now, well, how else can you use it? Topical application. How will you use it topically? Put it where it hurts, or put it on the bottom of your feet, the back of your neck, behind the ear. Where is the problem? Is it on the upper part or the lower part? Doesn't really matter. If you put an essential oil on you topically, it is soaked into the skin within 30 seconds. Now this is fun. So I just said that aromatic is the fastest response you can get. Okay, so if you want to change somebody's mood, use aromatically, right? If you are looking for help in a knee ache or elbow or the back, whatever's going on, just put it on there. You can have a response within 30 seconds, which is huge. This is why we have so many more doctors and hospitals that are starting to come on board with doTERRA, because the product is pure, the product is good enough to be used as a in a clinical setting. So topical use is great, aromatic is great. So when you're looking at aromatic, especially in a hospital setting, if I've just had surgery and I'm nauseated, I have two options. I can either put some topically on just right on my stomach, and within 30 seconds or a minute, I'm not nauseated anymore, but I can smell a cotton ball with peppermint or ginger, and that totally goes away. I think that's awesome, because now I have a choice. Do I want a shot, or do I want to smell a cotton ball? Well, of course I'm going to want to smell the cotton ball first. If it doesn't work, then use the shot. But at least giving us alternatives is great, because that's what we are looking for, and that's what this is all about. What are the alternatives that you can use in your own home to empower you? And that's what this is about. So topical use, pretty obvious. And you can also use a reflex point. If you cannot use or can't reach your back, you can use your reflex points on your hand, which are right there, right along there on each hand. So if I can't do that, it's like, you know, some of us can't reach that mid-back. I can't. I can do my lower back, but not my mid-back. So put it on the hands. It'll go straight there. So reflexology is a really good thing to understand. Third way of using essential oils is internal use. Again, know where the essential oil is coming from. Look at the bottle. Always read a label. Always read labels. And learn how to read labels when you're at the store too. What does it say? Does it say it's okay for internal use? And that internal use means that you can either put it in your liquid. You can actually put it on a drop on the back of your hand and then lick it off. You can put it straight out of the bottle and put it in your mouth. Now be cautious with that, because there are essential oils that are considered a hot oil, like cinnamon, for instance. That's really a spicy hot. And clove is another one that I wouldn't necessarily want that on my tongue, because my whole tongue's probably going to go numb. Then I wouldn't be able to talk. So think about what oil you're going to use. If you don't like the smell and you don't like necessarily the flavor, but you really feel strongly that you should take it internally, you can put it in an empty capsule and take it that way. And then you don't have to worry about any of those. And remember, if you're not sure where to put it, it's okay. Put it on the bottom of your feet. If you're going to go out for the day and you don't want to smell like an essential oil, put it on the bottom of your feet. Nobody will ever know. Unless you want to kiss them, okay? Because then they're going to taste it. Because you're going to taste it too. Peppermint. I have to tell you this story because it's such a funny story. Because I was teaching a class, and we had a toddler who had a pacifier. It was so fun because they didn't believe me that you could smell or taste the essential oil, peppermint in this particular time, in 30 seconds. And so I suggested that they put peppermint on the bottom of the toddler's foot and then wait 30 seconds and then take his pacifier out of his mouth and smell the pacifier. And, well, they put the peppermint on his foot, well, both feet, but they didn't pass the pacifier around. They actually took the pacifier out of his mouth and passed him around the table. So this kid's going around the table. So if you can picture that, that was quite funny. And of course, he was really excited. This was a fun game, right? And everyone was like, oh my gosh, you really can smell the peppermint. So just know, 30 seconds, that's all it takes, okay? The body knows what to do with essential oils, okay? So knowing that we have natural going into the body automatically knows, oh, I don't have to decipher this. I know what to do with it. So just a fun little story there that I've always enjoyed. So lemon, lavender, and peppermint together and singly, what do these three basic oils do for you? Well, over the weekend, I actually had an issue with someone that came to my house, and it was a dinner guest, and they were, I forgot that she's allergic to cats. And so my cat came in the house, and of course we have the grandkids here too, and so the grandkids like carrying this cat around and right next to her, and it's like, oh gosh, totally forgot. Well, she started having an issue because of her allergy to the cat. And so she already knows a little bit about doTERRA, and so she asked for a product called Breathe, which is for respiratory support. So I went and got that. I said, I have something else that I want to share with you. And so I gave her a couple small little pills, and not very big, and I'll show these what they are. These little pills right here. These are equal amount of lemon, lavender, and peppermint together. And the product is called Tri-Ease. So this product was created for seasonal threats. So if you know what Benadryl is for, and if you have an allergy attack of any kind, most people reach for Benadryl, or they keep an EpiPen, depending on the allergy that they have, right? And so what can you use as an alternative? And for me, I already know that these three oils, peppermint, lemon, and lavender, are great antihistamine. So I gave her 2 of those. We put Breathe on her chest, and we're sitting where they were dinner guests, and we're sitting there, and you could see even her face turn red. Her cheeks got very red. She started getting the congested in the throat. And so when I gave her this, she still had a little bit. So we waited for a little while, and she was doing okay. And about, 5-10 minutes later, she's like, you know, I feel pretty good. I'm really surprised, because normally she keeps getting worse, right? And gets all clogged up. And even her husband said, you know, she looked pretty good. And I was like, yeah, you have more color back in your cheeks. The cheeks aren't so red, and your voice is not got that raspiness to it anymore. So that was my solution, and I had something on hand that I could use for someone that otherwise would have had a miserable night and would have gone home and had a complete miserable night until the body got back to its normal self. Well, I found out the next morning she had the best sleep that night that she's had in a long time, because she also has a lot of more chronicness to her sinuses. And so she's asking, what was that, right? And of course she asked that as I gave it to her as well and told her what it was. And I was like totally not just amazed, but I'm certainly glad that I had something that made her life better and made it better for her, that she didn't have to, you know, be miserable all night long just for those three. So let's talk about those three individually. So lavender, our lavender used to come from France, from the high hills of France, but now it comes from Bulgaria. So lavender is great if you, I think everybody should have lavender in their kitchen, because if you ever get burnt, lavender is a saving grace. It helps in calming. So lavender is very calming. Some people think they have feel they have a allergy to lavender, and so they're not going to use it. And even though this essential oils come from a different part of the plant, it's the smell that triggers certain responses. So if they feel like they've got an allergy to lavender, don't, you know, just keep it away from them. There are other options when it comes to calming and reducing anxiety and, you know, helping with the skin. There's other things. Lavender is also good for bee stings. It also helps in like leg cramps, and neurologically speaking, it helps with that too. So it's that mood that creates something different neurologically. You can also use this for like bee stings. I have actually done that more than once. And it's very helpful to take away the sting from a bee sting. It doesn't go away immediately, but I'm one of those that if I get stung by a bee, it's not a pretty sight. And I really probably should carry around an EpiPen, but when I'm at home, I have lavender everywhere. I have lavender for emergency kit for my animals, and I have my oils in the house, and so I've always got lavender around me. There's some other ones that are good for those issues too, but lavender is my first go-to. It's also good for hives, and you would just apply it directly on the problem. Okay. Lemon. What does lemon do? Lemon's great for cleaning. If you want to, you can actually put lemon in a spray bottle with some water. And now it doesn't mix very well. Oil and water don't mix very well, so you got to shake it up good every time you spray. But you can clean your countertops, you can clean your furniture with that, and it's not invasive, it's not all these chemicals, it's something that's super simple. And these are antibacterial, and so use them. It's an easy way. Most people like lemon, so anything citrus really. Most people are used to lemon, but you can use lime, you can use orange, you can use bergamot. It's whatever you smell, whatever you want. What do you like to smell? So we know that lemon is also good for discomfort. I know that sounds silly, but it does. It does work for people. Not everybody, but it does work for people. Most people. It's an antioxidant. It's a detoxifier. So we already know that it's clean. It's very, very cleansing. It can also help. It can also help with stress and fatigue. Lemon, because what are we doing? We're smelling and triggering the mind, right? We're triggering that memory response. It's very calming to the stomach, so it's another reason that we can use lemon. And lemon is a detoxifier of the liver as well. Okay, so if you are, whether you take it internally in a capsule, whether you're using it in a liquid form, either way, lemon is good to detoxify the liver. So that's our filter. So if you change a filter in your car quite often, how often are you helping flush out the things in the liver? Okay, especially if you're not eating well or eating right, which most of us don't these days because we're always super busy and we're trying to get here to there to there to there. And so you've got to really learn that eating habits are another awesome way to either help us or not help us if we're not doing it correctly. Peppermint. Peppermint, oh my gosh. Peppermint is so invigorating, so uplifting because it can open our airways up really well. And it's another thing that helps in cooling the body. So if you are cooling the body, So like when I've had my bee sting from a wasp, I used the lavender first, but I had a lot of the warmth there, right? So that's where I applied the peppermint too. But I had to apply it I did that every 2 hours. So knowing when to use essential oils is important too. How often do you use essential oils? You have to know that with doTERRA, 1 drop goes a long way. So like peppermint, 1 drop of peppermint, we've already talked about the molecules, but 1 drop of peppermint can give you as much as 28 cups of tea. That's incredible for 1 drop, right? And so if you're trying to get older, like if your body temperature is high and you want to reduce that body temperature, if you apply peppermint more often, a little bit more often, then you're going to have better results, and you're going to help in reducing the temperature, the body temperature. And that doesn't matter if you're outside and it's super hot. There are those rags that you can get that are the cool rags, those blue rags you can get. If you apply a drop of peppermint along with that, that's just another way of helping keep you cool by applying that over the neck. So it's awesome. Peppermint's great for that. Or even a spritz bottle, just spritz you over it. I tell you, when we were at the fair, that's what everybody was doing at my friend's booth, because she was a massage therapist and she had a bottle of water, spritz bottle with water and peppermint in it. People would come over and spray themselves. It really does help cool the body. It's amazing. It's also good for relieving headaches. Where do you put it? Temples, right here, but not by the eyes. Come up by the hairline. If you ever get essential oils in your eyes, first off, don't use water, because water is a driver. You do not want to do that. You can use anything that's fat soluble, like olive oil, any oils you have in the kitchen, milk, yogurt, anything along those lines, even ice cream if you wanted to. But if you can keep your eyes closed for the length of time that it's going to take for that to dissipate, which is going to be anywhere from 10 to 20 minutes, so that you keep your eyes closed so you don't tear so much, because if you try to open your eyes all the time, all of a sudden you got these tears. Well, tears is like a water, but it's got the salt in there too, and so it's even worse. So try not to do that. Keep your eyes closed. I promise you won't go blind. I really do. Okay. Peppermint also helps us increase our energy. So if you you've had a long day, or you're just getting up out of bed, peppermint is that energizer. Just smell it. Oh my gosh, just invigorating. And when you put peppermint and wild orange together, oh my gosh, those two totally open up the sinuses, and it's like, oh, I'm awake now. Frankincense and peppermint are really good too. And I've used this many times when I'm driving home really late at night and I'm super tired, and it's like, okay, I need something to energize me, right? To keep me awake, because I don't want to fall asleep at the wheel. Yeah, that's not a good thing. So that's another thing. It's really good for nausea. Even if you simply smell it, it's good for that nausea. Or you can simply put it on the belly button. Now, when you apply essential oils topically around the stomach, rub it around clockwise, not counterclockwise. Why do we do that? Well, they say that that's the way that our system works, is clockwise. So if we're putting on topically, rub it clockwise, say, which is, if you're looking at it, is kind of opposite. That helps. That is the way our systems go, is clockwise, not counterclockwise. So it's another really fun little tidbit to learn about. So knowing what essential oils do for us, and lemon and lavender. Lavender is good for, it's kind of like the Swiss Army knife. It's a little bit of everything. Whether you have a cut, whether you need calming, and it's great to put on those kids at night on their feet to help them go to sleep. And I know one gentleman who has 8 boys, and every night when it's bedtime, when he's home, it's the first one in bed gets their feet rubbed. Not only do they get the attention of their dad, it's a connection from dad but it's also something that helps in them going to sleep. And some of us, even as not just kids, but most of us adults, have a hard time shutting this off up here. So what's going to help you fall asleep? Lavender can do that. So could lemon. So could peppermint. It depends on you. I have people that use orange oil, wild orange, and they go to sleep with it. And it's like, wait, what? It all depends on you and what it's helping you and your memory system of the brain. Is it helping you just calm down and helping that mind relax, get into that parasympathetic, that positive state, instead of thinking about, oh, I didn't do this. Oh, wait, I still need to do that. Oh, wait, I need to do that. If you're like me, that's what you do. So you got to have something to help shut that off. For me, though, I don't use these. I actually use Deep Blue, which has peppermint in it, but it also has helichrysum and wintergreen in there. So for me, it's a very calming blend, and I love it. And it's a rub, so I can put it on the bottom of my feet, and I can still smell it. It's awesome. So understanding what essential oils can do for you and knowing that there are a variety out there, and each essential oil has many different ways of using it. It's cost effective. So if you can use one drop of an essential oil and helps you with anything that's going on, isn't that cost effective? That could just be less than a penny. And if you think about things that you get from the store that are only meant for digestive, only meant for headaches, only meant for one thing, you can't use it for something else. But essential oils can always be used for multiple things. Even a blend we have called Digestin has been used for pink eye, not only in humans, but for rabbits, for animals. So that, to me, is so interesting, because it doesn't matter what you have. It's actually using it and letting the body do what it does best, and that's heal itself. It has the ability to do that, but what are we putting in our body and what are we giving it? That makes a difference. So I hope you got some interesting tidbits out of this today, because it's always wonderful when you have something on hand. You can get something, give something to someone that has a problem, and you can nip it in the butt very quickly. Now, does it happen like that all the time? No, it doesn't. So we still need our doctors so we can be diagnosed with something. We still need our medical facilities. We still need all of this. But I am so super stoked that doTERRA their vision has gone beyond just a bottle of essential oil and helping us with our health. They're actually integrating East and West together. So the first medical facility that will integrate essential oils and Western medicine together to treat the person and what's best for the person, okay? That, I think, is a great phenomenon, because a few years ago, there was no such word as integrative medicine. So knowing that, it's just crazy, right? So I'm super stoked about that, and there will be other ones. And the first one, of course, is just in Provo, Utah, just south of Salt Lake City, Utah. But there will be others. I know that they're looking at Colorado, they're looking at Ohio, they're in Washington. There will be a whole variety of them somewhere else. So, my friends, be mindful about what you use. Read every label that's on your essential oils. Know if you're getting the best essential oils, and know that they're trustworthy, okay? There are a lot of good oils out there, but there's a lot of bad ones as well. And if you want to use essential oils that are consistent in the quality and consistent in how they respond to us, then I feel doTERRA is the best one out there for many different reasons. So again, join me every single Monday at 9 a.m. Pacific time. If you want to in on the live or the replay, you can get the replay. Anybody that is interested in opting into either the live or replay links, then you just text the word @ Heavens Oil to 81010. I love being able to educate and share what I know about essential oils so that you know more about essential oils, because education is a key to knowing where we're going, and education is knowledge. So I appreciate everybody's time, and thank you for joining me today, and I will see you again next week, and we'll see what we have in store for us then. Does anybody have a question before I leave? Nope? Okay. Well, thanks for joining me. We'll see you next week. Bye, everybody.